Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit or Zappy here, back again with My Hero Academia Season 4. We're on episode 6, and then the last episode was a fantastic episode, and I think it was a long time coming as well, because, you know, I feel like Kirishima's sort of in that, like, he's been in and around that sort of ilk of, like, the top, kind of, you know, characters in the class of 1A, so, you know, it's nice to see him get his moment to, like, shine, and that unbreakable ability that he goes into is insane. It looks so it looks so cool. It's amazing. Someone made a very good point as well. That's probably going to be like when he eventually like gets to that sort of like, you know, that hero status, that he's going to be in that that league of ranked heroes that look like they could be villains, just based upon it. But dude, it looks so sick. So yeah, he definitely has a flashy quirk, even though he'll say that he doesn't. He definitely does with that one. So yeah, that was cool. We also had Ochako and Sue fighting with the number 9 hero Ryukyu, obviously doing an apprenticeship like beneath her. She's the Dragoon hero. Someone says that it just means it's sort of like a Dragon hero, like something similar. But you know, honestly, I'm not too sure on that. And yeah, we also saw that there could be possibly the sort of team up between, like, with the League of Villains and the Shihei Kaisai as well. So we'll see what becomes of that. Of course, like they're still sort of in, like, you know, discussions with each other about like joint partnership and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't think there's. Oh yeah, hopefully I would like to see if we'll get that a closer look at that Kirishima flashback as well that involved Mina in there, because I'm sure it definitely was Mina. I would like to see more of that, but you know, who knows? We'll see what we get in this episode. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else to really talk about, so we're just going to get into episode 6 and see what we get. So without further ado, let's go. You can go click the link in the description down there in the description, and click the link in the description down in the description. Yeah, nice one, Zach. In the description to go watch the reaction. And if you want to go see the full length to this episode, then you can go over to my Patreon and become a full length tier to watch that. But yeah, without further ado, let's go. Okay, episode 6. Right, well, I mean, it was basically, the whole episode was a sit down to discuss exactly what to really kind of do next, concerning the Shihei Saikai and stuff, like the sort of, I guess, evidence that they'd, you know, had gotten a hold of. Where to start, really? Okay, so I guess, I don't know, we'll go with the after credit scene first. So Eri saw immediately sensed Deku as different, so it kind of tells me that she's never really been outside much. Like, she hasn't really had any outside interaction with anybody like heroes or normal people on the street, you know. But yeah, she just sensed obviously that Deku was different and stuff. And fucking hell, man, just a really poor girl, man. Just the situation she is in. Jeez, I get the whole fucking, you know, like the fat gum and whatnot. Just speaking, I'm saying let's just fucking just go do it, you know. I mean, it's just a. You see, when it comes to Night Eye, I'm so like I don't. I feel like he is. I get the feeling that he's not really seeing things truly, like as what a true hero I feel like possibly should. And that's not just the fact that he doesn't, like, you know, he doesn't like want. It's not just because like he just want to burst in and you know, and just go all out like All Might or Deku would do. But I just feel like I don't know if his priorities are in the right place. You know, like I feel like. Do you remember like back in season 2 with like Gran Torino when Deku went there, and Gran Torino was telling Deku that, yeah, your admiration for All Might is a shackle. I feel like that was almost the case with Night Eye. the reason why I feel because I feel like everything is a. I'm trying to find the best way to explain this. I feel like he is too cautious. You know, like there has to be like a happy medium where, you know, where yeah, like I get the whole thing of being smart and not just jumping in, you know, willy-nilly all the time. It can really pay to have information going in to know how to best deal with the situation. But I feel like Night Eye is wanting everything to be put in place so that it can go smoothly when sometimes you don't have that luxury, you know what I mean? And I just feel like I don't know if Night Eye's sort of priorities in the right place, because I think everything relates back to everything that had happened with All Might in that flashback when he was saying, don't do this because you'll die a gruesome death. I've seen what happens if you go down this route. And I feel like now, ever since that, that's the thing that goes through his mind and why he chooses to do things and be a bit too cautious. And I feel like I hope it I don't know, I just get that feeling. I mean, I don't know, like, he's only able to... Fucking hell. Like, his power is extremely limited. Like, I get the fact that, like, Foresight is a fucking hell of a quirk to have. Like, it's a powerful quirk, so I guess you have to limit it, like, you know, relatively more than what other quirks would have to have limits to. But, like, one person every 24 hours... I mean, he's definitely just on that... He's, like, at the top of that, I suppose, support hero. Like, he's not one to go out and fight, I'd imagine, but, you know... Oh, it's just a tough one between... It just really is. I don't... Yeah. I mean, that's another thing as well. It's like, Night Eye, when he's talking to Gran Torino there, Gran Torino's asking... Like, what do you think about Midoriya? And he's saying that I think, you know, he thinks both All Might and Deku are very similar, and that he said that they both have a madness inside them that he doesn't understand. Like, it's crazy to me that like somebody that who is considered a pro hero doesn't understand the want and need to go out and save somebody. You know? Like, and I don't know if that goes back to a Shackle thing, like, because he doesn't show any... The only emotion he's ever shown that we've seen was in that flashback to All Might. So I wonder if he has any real, like, care for anybody other than All Might. And then after that had happened with the flashback, he just kind of cut that off, and now he doesn't care. And I think that's his problem, is that he doesn't care enough. I mean, if you're talking like on a scale of Night Eye and then All Might, like All Might and then Deku, it's like, you know, like it's it's a line of, you know, somebody who doesn't care enough versus somebody, like, I guess in Night Eye's mind, people who care too much. And that's the things, like, I understand the reasoning and want to be, you know, efficient and be smart and make things go as smoothly as possible. So but there has to be a happy medium. You can't just be all one way kind of thing. I get that. But, I mean, and the thing is that most times, often than not, a lot of it just depends on the situation, I'd imagine. But I'd feel like a situation would call for somebody to just burst in and get something done versus being overly cautious down to the very fucking last detail. You know? Like, because a hero at the end of the day, like, I would put down, like, a hero to me, like, when I'm thinking about it, you watch a lot, like, all these like Marvel movies or DC movies and all these hero movies and anything like that, that it always comes down to thinking on your feet, right? And doing stuff in the spur of the moment. Now that's not something that you can do before. It would probably help to have some information going in, but generally more often than not, when it comes to heroes and things like that, they fight off against the villain, and it's the circumstances that happen within the fights between the hero and the villain that they need to think on their feet and do something within the moment, and not something that they've planned, you know. So I get it. I just think that Night Eye's a bit. I think he's just too. Yeah, I just think he's too cautious, and I don't think it's really helping the situation. And I hope that, like, I hope it's not going to be a case where it's going to take like somebody to fucking horrifically die for Night Eye to realize that we should have just fucking done something quicker instead of, you know. But we'll see how it turns out. But it's just a feeling that I get from him, you know. Like, I feel like he's just not, you know, he shuts down anything that would, you know, in my eyes, like, sort of be like what a hero is kind of supposed to be, you know. I get what he means, not just you know, breaking the door in at the first fucking, you know, without thinking and stuff. But yeah. So yeah, Gran Torino had sent Deku to Night Eye just as a way to sort of just mend the relationship between him and All Might, which I'm surprised, well, it hasn't happened yet, considering after episode, at the end of episode 4, Deku was talking about All Might going to Night Eye to, you know, redo the fucking Foresight thing to see if anything was different. But yeah. Yeah, speaking of Night Eye, so he says 24 hours between Foresights. He says it's like a film strip. For the next hour, I can watch their life. So when All Might in episode 4 was talking about how the longer it is, the less sort of, you know, it starts to get more erratic. So it's for the next hour he can see anything that could happen in their life. Meaning that if talking of a film strip, it's basically like you're kind of like flicking through to try and it's like a needle in a haystack, I'd imagine. If you're watching like the rest of their life, as long as they don't like die like in the next 24 hours, I guess you would only have the strip of 24 hours, right? But I guess that's possibly like something that maybe that's what he was saying, because in the reaction when he was saying when Aizawa had asked like, why don't you just use Foresight on us and anything like that, and you know, Night Eye was basically telling like, what if I see something that's like a gruesome death? Again, I feel like that's a Shackle thing, because all he's thinking about is back to All Might again. Which I don't think, you know, it's kind of like the curse that comes with his quirk, which, you know, like, sorry mate, but you got to do something, you know. But I think that's what he's saying. Like, if he's looking at it like almost like a film strip, then I guess if he's like flicking through, he can determine how they're going to die at some point, you know, like, because the film strip would just end, I'd imagine. You know, but I'd imagine it looking like through a needle in a haystack and trying to find like, you know, certain things and whatnot. Although I guess the further down the, you know, I guess the years go, like you did with All Might, it just becomes a bit more like less details show up and you can't really tell what's happening. You know, so yeah. I loved the Aizawa and Midoriya thing, because I've said before, I said in the episode 4, season 4, episode 4 reaction, that I love the All Might and Deku scenes because it means so much. Everything that like, you know, the whole thing revolved around Deku getting his quirk and All for One, you know, One for All, sorry, from All Might. So, you know, like, just having them talk and having that sort of connection, that relationship has always been great. And every time it's on screen, it's fantastic. But I like the fact that Aizawa and Midoriya got that one. Like, I like the fact that Aizawa like got in to be the, you know, the other teacher that knows exactly, you know, he doesn't, well, Aizawa doesn't know exactly what the whole thing is with, you know, One for All and All Might and everything like that, but the fact of like Aizawa knows the kind of hero that Deku wants to be, because he has generally been, you know, for instance, the the training camp thing that they went to when the Vanguard Action Squad turned up for the first time, and he was carrying thingy on his back, little kid, Kota, and Aizawa like showed up and taught him then, and then anytime like he was talking about trust, like the time when him and Bakugo went out and fought the second time, and it's that trust that they need to get back up again. But Aizawa has always had this thing with Midoriya, even back to episode 5 of the first season, when he singled out Midoriya as like, your quirk is reckless and everything like that. So while you've got on one side All Might watching Midoriya learn the power that he had throughout the whole show, you've also got Aizawa and his perspective on it, and so it's nice to have the other half where it's a lot of the time it is always All Might and whatnot, but to have Aizawa there be that supportive teacher that when back at the beginning it was easy to just see him as just like a dick of a teacher. But like it's nice, it's very nice to have that moment to show between the teacher and his student that he cares and whatnot, and that he's going to be looking out for him as well as All Might. So yeah, that was a really, really good scene. I like that. And then in the exact same scene as well, seeing Mirio stressed and serious is is one of those things that I think the mangaka, the guy who wrote and did everything, My Hero Academia manga, the fact that he chose the idea like All Might always smiling, and therefore like in contrast Mirio's always happy, always upbeat, always like telling jokes, smiling, everything like that. So at the point where it does become serious, it's like a massive juxtaposition, and you feel it a hell of a lot more when Mirio is like that. Shit is bad. But it was nice to have Tamaki there, and Nejire was there as well, but she like she's like just Nejire, but of course like she doesn't like her friend being that way. But Tamaki specifically because the fact is that last episode you had Tamaki being so like down and a bit standoffish, and he doesn't get like the positivity kind of thing, and he's shy and everything like that. But when it affects Mirio, it's mad to think that Tamaki looks to the likes of Mirio and then Kirishima as well, for that sort of support, just by being happy and positive and anything. It sort of affects Tamaki as opposed to him doing it himself and infecting himself like his own way. So yeah, that was nice to say as well, because he basically said, it's like I can't remember the quote, he said like, please like be happy again or something like that, which is something like very serious that Tamaki has said, because otherwise throughout the like since we've known him at the end of season 3, the things that Tamaki has said, like it's hard to take as like a serious kind of tone, because he's been brought across as a very kind of jokey character, because like if someone says like a certain thing and he goes looks at a wall and stuff, but I definitely got like a serious tone out of that when he was asking Mirio to please be happy again and stuff. So yeah, that was again that whole scene was really nice. So what's next? Yeah, affecting both Deku and Mirio a lot. You saw the fucking like the split as soon as they announced that they're making bullets out of Eri. Like it just hit like that whole thing. But again, like I talked about it in episode 3 when that happened, that I wasn't sure that they would be able to just take Eri from Overhaul. Like I don't really think that that's, because at the end of the day she's a kid, right? And a pretty young kid by the looks of it. Like if a kid in real life was in the street walking with their parent or whatever, and then come up and then like this kid like started hugging like somebody's leg, some random person's leg, saying like help me or anything like that, that doesn't give them the right to take them away from the parent, so I don't think they could have done anything. And remember, they were talking about how they didn't really have sufficient evidence to take him in, so there's not even that sort of reasoning to be able to take Eri. So I don't even think they could have done anything. I mean, you know, I don't know what the laws and everything like that are in this world revolving around that whole situation, you know. I mean, you had some of the lesser heroes basically saying if you just you know, taken her then, wouldn't be in this situation. But it's like, that's all in hindsight. Like, you know, hindsight's a bitch. It's like, it's easy to be able to say in hindsight after it's all like said and done, basically, oh well, you should have done this. You can only do what you can do at the time, what you think is right. And even though, you know, Overhaul played that situation well, he got them into the alley. And Eri saw that Overhaul was gonna, you know, Eri didn't want them to get hurt, so she went back with Overhaul, you know, of her own accord. So, you know, it's just one of those things where it's just there's not much they could have really done, you know. Overhaul, there was Night Eye was talking about how he thinks he knows how it works, and I guess that was by the. It seems like by the bullets that they were looking at, they've somehow gotten this. But it said that his quirk is to disassemble and reassemble. So that's how he does it. So not only does it makes sense, because when they were talking about the fucking Reservoir Dogs thing and how they, like, all their cavities had been fucking fixed and everything like that, and I was thinking, well, I don't think that's his quirk, but it is. Like, so he's able to just disassemble and reassemble and change. I don't know how it works. I don't know if it's a different finger that he uses, or if it's like he just uses any part of his body. I don't know. It's interesting. It is interesting. Yeah, it's crazy. It's just crazy. So yeah, they're talking about how the Shea Saikai have been connecting with other groups, and that's basically the best that they've got for a reason to take this guy in, or to take down the group as a whole, is that they're connecting with other groups that are doing bad things. You know, and whether that's enough, who knows? I mean, it seems not, because it seems like they need to go out and find out where Eri is in the meantime, whilst getting evidence of you know, foul play and everything like that. I mean, if they know where Eri is, they're going to find enough evidence to take her away and you know, take down the Shea Saikai, I'm sure, but we'll have to wait and see. They were talking about how the bullet thing, it doesn't destroy quirks, which I was like, what? Is Tamaki just lost his quirk? I was fucking scared for a minute there, but no, it doesn't destroy it, but it does cause damage. But it says that he's fine now. So it is possible that, you know, they said that they were in sort of testing phase. If they were able to sort of, if they were able to perfect it, that they would possibly able to destroy quirks. That's it's a big deal. It's a big fucking deal. And yeah, I mean, that's the thing, because like at that point, it's like destroying it's like the same as almost killing a character. In a way, I mean, because if you're able to destroy one's quirk, it's not like they can get it back, you know. And it's just like it would. There are so many characters where they can just be affected by that thing if they do perfect it at one point. And honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if at one point we get to that phase where they have enough to destroy someone's quirk, and it's going to be like somebody fucking. Oh, it's good. I just have images, man. It's just gonna it's just gonna suck. Ugh. We had Kirishima as well in the middle of the. I love how Kirishima just felt completely out of place in this. You know what I mean? But bless it. It comes from his mental sort of state where he still feels like he's not all of that. You know, like he's sitting at this table with, you know, all of these people, and he's just like, he feels like he's out of his element because he's not as good as any of them and anything, and he can never be as good as them, and because like, he just feels completely out of place. But he's always picking up on the fact that Deku like knows a lot of big hitters. Makes me wonder if he's able to figure a lot of stuff out as well. So we'll see if that comes with anything. So yeah, Night Eye's other sidekick is the Bug Dude, or he's known as Centipede, which automatically means that I don't like him. I'm not I hate centipedes. I hate them. They're like the worst thing on earth for me. Those things. They're so fucking alien. It's crazy. Ugh. Sorry, Centipede, mate, but I don't. It's at the point where I don't even want to see how he uses a quirk. I don't want to see it. Ugh, God. And yeah, so they got quite a cute team up of heroes there. There was a lot of them there that there was some of them there that like I really liked the look of, and I could have gone through and fucking, because they named some of them, right? They named some of them, but some of them were just unnamed. That guy, the sort of darker skinned dude, he seems like an interesting character because he was the one that was like sort of asking questions and sort of speaking up, which I feel like is one of the best things to do when you're in there for a meeting. Whilst a lot of them remained silent, he was sort of one that was, you know, trying to move things along and get things done, which I kind of like. So I'm interested to see what he can do. When padlock for earrings and shit. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that next episode, I imagine. So yeah, we'll wait for that. But that is all I've got. So thank you everyone for watching. In the description below, I've linked certain things. One of them is the Discord, so you can get yourself over there. And I also have a Patreon page as well. So if you do want to support me on Patreon, that'd be very much appreciated. There is a bunch of different tiers and rewards that you can, you know, choose to support me with if you want. So there's obviously the early access tier, $5 a month, gives you access to shows a week early, and you get 4 episodes of Hunt to Hunt every week as well. So there's that. There's the $10 a month for full length. So if you do want to watch this episode in full, the full all reaction, completely unedited, then you can do with the full length tier there. There's also other tiers where you can pay to have certain shows react to as well. So if you want me to react to a certain show, then you can do. Go over there, have a look, see what those tiers offer, and that is that. So thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.